Another opportunity for you to headline, which I think you're probably getting pretty accustomed to by now, right?
Yeah, I think this is the 5th one. Yeah.
Do you prefer that? Would you prefer being having the spotlight a little bit off you? What's your preference?
Honestly, I like it both. I don't really have a preference because I've had good experiences with being on the prelims. I've had good experiences with being the headliner and vice versa. I've had sometimes where it wasn't the best experience being on prelims and it wasn't the best being a headliner. So I don't think it really. I really don't try to focus on like the placement of when I'm having the fight, just on the fight really.
When you do get the shot to headline, I mean, at least you know your bosses obviously think pretty highly of you and what you bring to the table, that you can carry a card, that you're going to be in exciting fights against whoever they put you in there with. So what does that kind of do for you, I guess, in terms of when you're getting ready for a camp and knowing that, hey, man, like these guys dig me? Does that do something for you from a mental standpoint?
Well, yeah, it's always a compliment when you're being told you're going to be the main event. Like you said, it means you can carry a card. It means the company believes in you, believes in the value that you bring. And in terms of training, I mean, the extra rounds, that's the biggest emphasis to me is more conditioning, pushing it a little harder, a few extra sparring rounds instead of just doing 4 or 5. We do 5 or 6 or 7 sometimes, just to really push the body, because who knows, we might be in for 5 rounds of war.
You've been pretty consistent the last few years in terms of how often that you've been fighting. It seems like it's been every 5 or 6 months or so. Is that the kind of pace that you like, that you're comfortable with, maybe twice a year? Or are you the kind of guy who, if they called you more often and said, hey, we want you in there every 3 or 4 months, you'd be in there that often?
It really depends on how the previous fight went. Like the Derek Lewis fight, I got KO'd, so I had to be out for a mandatory 6 months. The Jorginho fight, he fractured my orbital with the jumping knees. I wasn't able to spar for about 5 weeks. So it really depends on the damage taken. Like if I don't really take a lot of damage, I'm ready in just a few months. But if it was like a Derek Lewis or Jorginho, or it's happened in other fights, even against Alistair, even though I beat him, I had a partially torn MCL from him attempting a knee bar. So it really just depends on the damage. I want to be healthy. You
guys have had some common opponents, I guess. Are you a guy who studies film, and if so, do you go back and look at his fights against guys that you've also fought to see if there's anything you can pull out of there, or does all the film study get left up to the coaches?
The coaches, they're the ones that pick the film, that pick the fights, but I will sit down with them and they'll point out things that they've highlighted, things that they think matter. But yeah, I let them like direct it. Like, I'm involved, but they're directing it.
He's coming off a loss, but he had built up a nice little run there, and kind of in a hurry, I guess. Do you look at this as the type of fight that keeps you in the title picture? Is he the type of opponent that a solid win over him, you're right there still?
Yeah, like you said, he's become a name in this company now. He is highly ranked. You don't just get ranked for nothing. So yeah, a win over him, hopefully a finish over him that keeps me in title contention, because yeah, we don't know what's going on with Stipe, John, Gan, and Ngannou. There's a lot of just stagnation. So I'm just really just trying to maintain my position. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit, I guess, about what he brings to the table. I'm sure he's watching out for your wrestling, but what does he bring that you maybe have to look out for, that he might be dangerous with on Saturday night?
we know he's a very technical striker. He has nice, crisp boxing. Obviously, he has jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt, so got to be prepared for whatever heel hooks and e-bars, whatever type of craziness he might be trying to whip out. But besides that, just the basics. That's the beauty of this division. Everyone's a threat. There isn't any heavyweight that you can ever take like, oh, he's just a guy. It's heavyweight. Any 250-pound man hits you in the face, it could be lights out. So that's enough for me to be giving him my full attention.
You're not too far from home. I mean, kind of, a nice little half-day drive, I guess. Are you bringing a lot of friends and family over with you, I guess? And then how badly do you want to be able to fight in Chicago again? I mean, it's been, I guess probably 4 years since you were able to fight at home. Is this close enough for now, and then you're hoping that they get back there soon?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. A lot of fighters, I can't remember their names, but I've seen articles where they get asked that. A lot of fighters, we don't want to be at home because there's already enough pressure. Like, it's going to be pressure if I'm fighting in Brazil, or if I'm fighting in Japan, or if I'm fighting in Chicago. But when it's in Chicago, everyone just expects, like, oh, he's going to destroy this guy. It's a fight, man. We don't know. So, honestly, if they do have another one in Chicago, yeah, I like to be on it, but I'm not it's not a heavy emphasis for me. I could go the rest of my career without ever fighting there again. I did it once. It was amazing, but it was also a little nerve-wracking. So,
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
How's it going, man?
I'm good.
Obviously a big card this weekend. London heavyweights are super competitive nowadays. The division's super tight. Tom Aspinall jumped 5 spots with a win over Volkov this weekend. After this fight, obviously you're not looking past Chris, but is he somebody on your ranking that if you get this done, he's the name coming up and he might be able to put you through in terms of the reach and the media and the popularity if you get a win over a guy like that?
Like I said, I think anyone in the top 5, anyone, Tuivasa, Stipe, any of those guys, if Aspinall is ranked above me, that's a worthy opponent for me. And yeah, he's also another guy who's built up a name really fast. He just got to finish over Volkov, someone I highly respect because I've been in the octagon with him. That is not easy to do. So yeah, if that happens, I win over him also. It really just maintains. I'm a realist. I understand this division. This division is Ngannou, Gane, and there's always room for a third. That third might be Stipe. It might be me, but I'm being honest. Like, I just got to keep winning. You keep winning, you stay relevant.
And for this weekend, he's known for getting in, getting out, 1 round, 2 rounds max. The plan is deep waters for you. Feel him out at 1-2 rounds, and then make sure that he gets to feel what 5 rounds feels like.
The plan is to be organic. We don't rush. We don't force things. We don't hunt things. Like, if it goes 1 round, great. If it goes 4 rounds, okay. If it goes 5 rounds, okay. We don't hunt. It's organic, and if it happens, it happens.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I was talking to Chris earlier, and I said, some people might look at it and just say, hey, this is a wrestler versus a striker kind of thing. But for you, that you said earlier, you were working extra rounds on the striking. Is the wrestling at this point, is it so good? Do you still work it in training, or is it that you just kind of focus on the other aspects that you think might come up in this fight, or do you still hit the wrestling pretty hard as well?
I wrestle once a week, and that's been my schedule for the past 6 years. I've always put a lot more energy into my striking just because I have a lot more ground to cover. I've been doing wrestling since 2005. I've only been seriously into striking since 2015. So there's just a 10-year gap. So yeah, I put a lot more emphasis on my striking. And I don't think it's the striker versus the wrestler. I believe I'm a very good striker also. I've got a few knockdowns. I beat Junior Dos Santos on the feet. I've been on the feet with some of the best strikers in our division's history. I've been on the feet with Ark Hunt. I've been on the feet with Alistair. Like I said, Junior Dos Santos, Eric Lewis. Yeah, I lost in this. He was able to knock me out, but that first round, if you watched it, I owned him on the feet. I didn't get a takedown. I owned him on the feet. So this this idea that I don't know how to strike, I don't know where that comes from, because I believe I've shown I have skills in my striking.
So now at this point in your career, it's almost like the wrestling only pulls out when maybe somebody is just really, really faulty in that area, or maybe if you need a backup, or if you're maybe hurt and you need to kind of go back to that?
Or if it's just obvious, like I'm never going to just if you're just standing straight up, why not? Yeah. Why not? It's not hard. And I know people would be like, well, why not just knock him out? I don't know. That's just not how my brain's wired. I see wide open hips. I want to shoot. I don't know. So, yeah.
So when you look at him, does he look like he would be, from what you've seen from past fights, does he look like he would be an easy takedown target?
No. I think the easiest one, and it's not someone that anyone would have thought of, Volkov. I was able to take him down 15 times, and no one would have thought that. So you never know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking about that fight with Volkov, and then you're talking about Tom, does it ever frustrate when some of these guys that are coming up seem to be getting a lot more hype and push after only a couple wins, as opposed to guys like you that have been grinding for longer and longer and working through more and more gentlemen than they have?
I'm not going to say I've been grinding harder or longer, but it doesn't frustrate me. I mean, they deserve hype. I deserve hype. It doesn't really bother me just because I'm not focused on being famous. I enjoy competing at a high level in athletics. I enjoy getting paid for what I do, which is we get paid well, and I enjoy my family and friends being able to be like, I'm something they can brag about. Like, hey, this is my brother. Or, hey, this is my son, or this is my dad. Like, I like that, so that's enough for me. The other stuff, it'll happen. It'll happen eventually.
The last one that kind of piggybacks off that sounds like it's almost like a very blue-collar mentality, about fighting. So when you're fighting in a place like Columbus, which is a very blue-collar town, do you think you're going to get an extra pop from the people that your fight style and that the way you carry yourself maybe will resonate with them a little bit more?
I think so. I hope so. I know Ohio has a very good, strong tradition in high school wrestling and collegiate wrestling. Ohio State is very good. But I know high school-wise, like, this state loves wrestling. So I'm just hoping they can appreciate it.
Awesome. Best of luck.
Thank you.
To piggyback on that with the thought of Columbus, the home of Kevin Randleman, rest in peace, Mark Coleman. Are there anything that you have a connection to Columbus that you're going to bring into Saturday night?
No, actually. I don't have a connection with Columbus. The closest I've ever been to Columbus was Cleveland, Ohio, back in 2012 when I was out here helping Stipe get ready for Gabriel Gonzaga. That was the closest I came to being out here. But I've always had friends because I wrestled at NIU, and it felt like half our roster was from Ohio. So I know a lot of guys from Beaverton, or I don't know anyone from Columbus, but from all over the state. So, and it does feel like home a little bit, just the Midwest vibes, the personality. Cause I walked around a little bit yesterday, and everyone's just real nice, real like, hey, how you doing? And you don't get that everywhere. So that's how you know you're back in the Midwest, and I like that.
Talk about your strength and conditioning a little bit. How many days a week, and what exactly are you doing?
For strength and condition, I do that 3 times a week. It's a lot. It's a lot. My strength and conditioning coach is also my striking coach. I wish he was here to give you, because he would love to just dive into that. He puts us through it, though. It's a lot. I know it sucks. I actually have video of it. I'm working on starting up a YouTube page. I'm going to start posting more. I know that's what everyone does, how you grow your fan base. So you guys will get to see it, but it's hard to describe. Just a lot of aerobic, just a lot of, we wear the heart rate monitors, and he likes to have us in the red like the whole time, as long as you can be there without passing out. So we spend a lot of time in the red zone.
Appreciate it.
What other stuff are you going to put on that YouTube channel? Are you going to do some dance routines like everybody on social media does, or what are you going to do?
I don't do the TikTok dance. I don't even have a TikTok. It'll be mostly training stuff, a little bit of like hanging out with the guys. I always got to ask them, like, do you guys mind if I post this? Because it's not always for the public. But it'll be like 80% MMA stuff and 20% filler, like, oh, we're eating this or we're watching this, a little bit of that.
Do you have aspirations to do coaching or any of that sort of stuff afterwards?
Yes, I do aspire to be a MMA wrestling coach eventually, yeah.
That's awesome. Cool.